and then go back to your own place, see what you find, and do a little test plaster thing. Usually what we do in building projects like this is we make like 5 or 6 different batches, just like I did in the bucket. And you know, you take a sectional wall and you just, you know, or an old piece of plywood or drywall or something, and you do 5 or 6 different tests. For example, you do 2 clay to 4 sand, 2 clay to 5 sand, 2 clay to 6 sand. And you do those 3 and you put it on the wall and you see how it turns out. The function of the tarp is to make sure that moisture from inside the house doesn't migrate through the ceiling into the straw insulation above there. If that were to happen, the straw would rot. So what's going to happen is the straw, the insulation is going to be on top of the roof, is going to be encapsulated between 2 layers of plastic. And as long as moisture cannot get to it from either the top or the bottom, it will stay relatively dry for a very long time. Without the moisture, the straw cannot rot. Start bringing the bales up. Hand them to Carrie.
As I was running and coming back down the hill and seeing this house, it just fit in so nicely with the land. And I think having something not only that's housing and that's warm and cozy that people are actually already staying in before it's even done, but having something beautiful is, yeah, I think it's definitely needed.
It's been even up to the most recent times, at the late 60s, people were actually still living in tents out here. Population is growing faster than anyone could keep up with. So alternative building sources, alternative building, yeah, it's needed here because we don't have the money or the resources to build contemporarily.
I think a lot of the white people, at least in my community, have a lot of ideas about Native American culture and what it is, and how rich it can be, and yet how sad, you know, they think it's so rich and yet it's so sad, and they just have all these ideas about what it is without really knowing. And I don't know, I feel like just spending a week or so here interacting with people, I've come to the conclusion that we're all just kind of in this, looking for the same thing. And
for minimal amounts of money, you can build using materials readily available right here on the reservation.
Oh, they had a bunch of, yeah, all over your.
You probably don't need to put it quite that thick.
For sure, no drinking in here.
I can see a cluster of houses in the middle of the prairie land. I can see the silent Lakota standing there hand in hand, keeping the cluster of houses, cooking fry bread of the prairie land. I can see the Lakota women giving each other a hand, that cluster of houses, and all throughout the prairie land. I fear for the Lakota kids, that they end up with a gun in their hand. I feel the Lakota elders there on the prairie land, remembering the days when the Lakotas were famous for taking a stand. Crazy Horse stood there too, on the edge of the prairie land, trying to understand the logic of white men's demands. And Crazy Horse tells me and you, the buffalo will roam the ground, its message will be profound. What comes around goes around. I can see a cluster of houses in the middle of the prairie land. I can see the Lakota people trying to understand. I can see a cluster of houses way out there on the prairie land. I can see the Lakota people trying to understand. See a cluster of houses in the middle of the prairie land. I can see the Lakota people trying to understand.
The Pine Ridge Indian Reservation is a third world country here in the right middle of the United States. Shannon County of South Dakota, we are the poorest nation there is. As you look around you, you're not going to see no condominiums. Nothing. These are all cardboard houses and trailer houses we lived in. See? I try to help organizations to bring good things to the reservation. In the 1980s, I was chosen, not elect, chosen as one of the head men of the Lakota Nation. I am a secondary from the chiefs. And I do my part, try to bring everything here to the Lakota people. The political ring that they have out there in the Pine Ridge Agency, nobody cannot control, but there are some people that are running in there, they're the only ones that control. Your answer is no, I don't have no control about the government money or the casino money. And the political people, the Pine Ridge people, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, they have taken all this money from us. So out here, we don't see nothing, as you witness for yourself. We don't have no money. And those money, those political Indians, you see them, they have good cars, beautiful homes, most expensive watch, Rolex, all this. There is two kind of people here on this Pine Ridge Reservation. One of them is a free Indian, which he is a poor Indian, according to the white man, but high and spiritual, rich and spiritual. And there is the political Indian, educated Indian, which committed all kind of federal crimes of fraud, conspiracy, stealing our money that gives from the United States government according to the treaty, but we never got it over here. It is very impossible to have a relationship between the industrial people and the Lakota Nation, or as well as any Aborigine nation there is. It is very impossible because the Creator, the Great Spirit, shows us a way of life. See? To have harmony and respect for all living things. See? And the Creator never show us no money trading. The relationship between the Lakota Nation and the government in Washington is, it was unfair, unjust in the beginning, and up till today it is. Because they are guilty of lies upon their own Bible. Their own Bible says no stealing, no killing, but they have break their own spiritual laws. That is why they are guilty, and we kept ours. We kept our tongue. We kept our word. And they are guilty, and they are scared. That is why they don't want to look at us. That is why they lied. American government is all, America, the whole United States is made out of words of lies. Lies. See? They have to return our land. They have to give us back what money they owe us. United States government owe us, Lakota Nation, billions and billions of dollars. From the Home State Mining Company, and things they took from the Black Hills, and the land they took illegally. And instead, he gave us welfare. When you keep running into a brick wall, and pretty soon you realize it's a brick wall. And pretty soon you will stop and just watch. This is how it is. We've been using legal manners from 1861, 1825, 1810. My grandfathers, their grandfathers, and I am using legal matters to inner courts, but it never justified nothing. Nothing. The treaty that the Washington made is not respected at all. It's a genocidal treaty. This government in Washington have no Indian policy. Indian policy has to come from us, not from Washington. The BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs, is from Washington. The IRA, Tribal Council, is from Washington. We as a nation were kept quiet. Welfare is actually making my people helpless. It's taking away their pride and their strength. A lot of young families, there's a lot of single mothers choose welfare because there is no job here on this Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. 90%, 95% of it are unemployed. I'm trying to give hope because that's all we got left. Hope. My people are conditioned today. They are conditioned so they wait for the government handout. First of the month they will get their checks, welfare checks, and they will get drunk and few of them will die. And if I have a total control, people like me, there's other spiritual leaders feel the same way as I do. And if we have our control, these are our people and we know how to deal with them and how to control them. But they won't give us that responsibility because they have the money to change our people's mind. There is nothing here. My people are dying of diabetes, sugar diabetes, cancer, alcoholism. Crime rate is pretty high. They steal for drugs. The whole reservation here today, it looks like the ghettos out in New York or any big city, but it's worse because these are my relatives. It's a political criminal ring. They have it out there in the Bureau of Indian Affairs and right there in the Tribal Council called IRA. And they do many illegal things and they get by with it. So one of those illegal things is they steal the land and sold it. They took my land and they sold it to somebody and I never seen nothing. I never said yes. The white people has to come and witness what's going on this reservation because they are the ones paying taxes to the federal government and they are the ones that has the voice to their senators and congressmen and the government. So they come here and they'll witness this and they go back and I told them to write to your senator and your government about the situation on Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. Instead of spending that much money in Iraq, they could have come and do our roads, better doctors, better teachers, good housing, better stores, you know. But no, they went over there and did, it's another Vietnam that's going on. It's another one, see? Pahasapa to the Lakota is the great spiritual significance is the heart of the Earth Mother. For the Lakota, that's a most powerful spiritual center of our universe. This is where we came to seek the guidance that we needed, the guidance and the power, vision for the people. In the day, the buffalo represent everything to the Lakota as they were our food, our shelter, our clothing. So we still have a great kinship to the Tatanka Oyate. We are both in an oppressed state. The Tatanka we have here have been enslaved and caged all these many years as the Lakota have. If you go to Wind Cave today, it's just down the road from where we're at right now. You'll discover that some white man discovered this cave back in the 1700s or some such date they have.
But for the Lakota people, Lakota Oyate, this was the point where we came forth after we went into exile into the earth with our brothers, the buffalo. But it was the buffalo who brought us forth. And bringing us forth, they had jumped the gun, which means that we weren't meant to return at that time directly, that we were to wait. But still they went ahead and came up to the surface, to inhabit the surface, and we followed them through. Upon fooling the Lakota in such a manner, then the mystery have made them that as our brother, that it would be their duty to clothe us, to feed us, and sustain us for all eternity. A prophecy that I see is the only way that people will survive, any peoples, in the coming of the collapse of the empire, will be that we as a tribal entity, as a tribal peoples, we will start existing again for each other, for the people, for the good of the people. But what we have today in the self-indulgent world is the I. I have the money. I have the best. See, there is no we here. It is only an I, and that I is corrupt. Lakota api oyate ki na ableza ki na chante wa shte oyo kipi na tonkashla wa unshila lo na unshila kache. It said that the Tunkashla to pity us, that we remember what we are, and that for the good of these people we remember our ways, the Lakota api, the ways of the people. Grandfather in Lakota is Tunkashla. Wakan Tonka, the great mystery, is the one who put it all into motion. And that's Daku Wakan. That's all that's sacred, Daku Shkan, all that moves. And the others, Tatea Topa, grandfathers of the four directions.